Hello YouTube and welcome to the channel once again. Some interesting subject today, one of those sort of hairy subjects which gets everybody excited and with their own opinion. But before I go on, I'm just going to tell you, I'm here and sitting in the witch's hat. It's the first time I've been able to get out without the storm force winds for over a fortnight to do a video. So I've come to the witch's hat. I did a video on this about the different times of year on taking the same photograph, and there's a link just above somewhere. So go and check that out. It's one of my earlier videos. So this has really perplexed me, this subject, and it's something I think this video itself, in trying to address it, will probably kick an awful lot of opinion off. And if it does, let us have a comment underneath. I'm always welcome to look at the comments. I got two emails recently, very much on the same subject, different people at different times, but both of them which really got me rather down. And the general subject is, why do I hate full frame cameras? Now I find that quite fascinating, since I made most of my professional career using full frame cameras. In fact, if you want to go full frame, I started using full frame, as we would know it, way back in the 1970s, when I got my very first Zenit E, which was a 35mm camera. And remember, what we call full frame now, the same size, is what you got from 35mm film. So I've been using full frame cameras of one description or another since the mid-70s. I've shot on all sorts of things from full frame. I've shot on APS-C, on mainly Canon, which is 1 to 1.6. I've shot an APS-H with my 1D Mark III, which is 1 to 1.3 ratio. And I've managed to get professional shots out of all of them. I left full frame cameras for two reasons. One, I'm no spring chicken. Look at me, I'm not in my mid-20s, I'm not super strong anymore, I'm getting to be an older bloke. Now I'm not saying that Micro Four Thirds are only for older blokes, but it does come in really useful for me when I'm having to carry heavy gear around the place. By using Micro Four Thirds cameras and lenses, it gives me the opportunity to carry more gear, or more appropriate gear to what I'm going to shoot, especially on the lenses side. And I'm shooting this on a Lumix G9 at the moment, and a lot of you will say, but you can get a Sony XYZ, which is smaller than the G9. You can get the Canon or the Nikon, which is smaller than the G9. Yes, you're absolutely right, but I still haven't found the full frame ranges anywhere which has lenses as small and as light as a Micro Four Thirds, which pack this much quality. So that's my main reason for doing that. So the question, do you hate full frame? That's a strong word. Hate really is something of a strong word. And it took me aback when I read it, because this is a hobby, this is an enjoyment. Some people do it professionally. I've given up doing professionally now, but I did professional shooting for an awful long time. And I'm going to do a video about professional versus amateur very soon. Keep your eyes open for that one. But I shot professionally for an awful long time. I didn't really care what the format was, so long as it was giving me the quality, so long as it was giving me the usability, and so long as it was giving me the results which I could sell back to my clients and they would be happy with it. Now, there are situations where I've shot on medium format and large format cameras. They were what were needed at the time. I did an awful lot of my shooting on full frame. Why? Because it gave me the quality, because it gave me the style that I wanted, and because it gave me the reliability in the cameras. For a long time, the full frame cameras that I was using, things like the 1Ds and the 5Ds from Canon. I was mainly a Canon shooter. Obviously Nikon and Sony all come into this, but they gave me the ultra reliability that I needed to be able to give my clients the photographs that they wanted. Now they were big investments, so they also became the cameras I was using for my recreational use as well, and that's fine. Also though, at the time, we didn't really have the mirrorless format. Yes, we did have mirrorless cameras. We had a lot of bridge cameras which were mirrorless. We had all sorts of things coming in, but they weren't up to the quality to be able to use professionally. When I started going on to using Micro Four Thirds with a 5D, the original 5D, if you've got one of those, they're fantastic cameras still, it was a bit of a revelation, because I had a great choice of lenses. The autofocus was lightning fast. At the time, now we're talking 2016, 2017, the autofocus was lightning fast. It was given autofocus with more focusing points than I could have actually dreamed for on full frame at the time, or anything affordable on full frame at the time. It was giving me the ability to do what I wanted to do in camera. I didn't have to be chimping at photographs, because what I saw is what I got, and that made a huge difference for me. But I still went out and shot professionally with the full frame cameras. I was using a 1DS Mark III and also a 5D at the time, a 5D Mark II. I didn't go to the Mark III because I didn't think I needed the change. They were reliable cameras and they're good, and they're giving me what I needed. I was doing high volume shoots. But when I went on to Micro Four Thirds, The lightness, the smallness, the ability to, what you see is what you get. It brought a fun factor back for me. Now what I also started doing is reassessing what I wanted to do professionally. I went away from some of the high volume shoots and I went on to more one-to-one sessions. And I found that the Micro Four Thirds was great. It actually came in really useful when I was still doing the high volume shoots, because I'd be holding a camera probably 7-8 hours during the day, taking thousands of photographs. By the time you've held that with a 24-70 on the front L series lens on the front of a 5D Mark II or a 1DS Mark III, you feel it. At the end of the day, you know you've been holding a heavy camera. The setup on this is less than half the weight of that Canon setup. So I was finding it much easier from that. When I gave up shooting professionally during the lockdown, I put my cameras off to one side, didn't shoot for the best part of a year, but when I came back to it, I realised I wasn't going to have the business that I had, and I decided I was going to go out and about in the fields, use my cameras, and the Micro Four Thirds system suited that. But to use the word hate for a system which has made me a lot of money over the years, which has kept me into the, put food on the table, it's put transport underneath my feet when I needed to go somewhere, to say that I hate a format like that is really rather childish, I think, to tell you the truth. If you enjoy shooting with the camera that you have, if you get the results from the camera that you have, which really makes you enjoy your photography, then that's the right camera. Am I against full frame? Not at all. I love seeing what's coming out. And to tell you the truth, if it had been for the mirrorless cameras that we're seeing coming out, the quality of those, the R series and the Z series, and also the Sony was coming out, and it was really, really good, but I didn't get the chance to really get into that before I made this decision. If it had been for those, my head may have been swayed, but it wasn't. They weren't good enough at the time. They weren't providing me what I wanted, and this was a system which really was working extremely well. So I stuck with it, because I don't see the point of reinvesting. The other thing I really do like on this though, and it's something that I got quite by accident, was the 4x3 format. I found it was far better than the 6x4 format that I was getting from the full frame cameras. The 4x3 format, the slightly squared offness, the slight extra width, I found was really, really useful in the sort of shots I was taking. I can still do the other formats, and it was great. Now the other thing that I really loved about this was when I started doing some of these videos. I'm not a videographer, I've said that several times, I'm not a videographer, but I do make videos. You're watching one now. On that, I found the Micro Four Thirds format at the time I started doing it was incredibly easy compared to what I'd used. I could see what I was doing. They all had the tilt swivel screens that I wanted to see. It was very easy setup. I found that it was incredibly useful and easy to do a quick video very well. So in answer to the question, do I hate full frame format? Of course I don't. Do I hate my APS-C format though? Because that's smaller. How could I? I started with my digital photography on APS-C, and as I say, I was using an APS-H sensor for quite a while as well. They produced what I needed to, but at this moment in time, this is the format I choose. Now, I've also seen an awful lot in the Micro Four Thirds circles of criticism, huge criticism of some of the previous ambassadors for Lumix and Olympus switching sides and going to Sony or going to whatever, and they're getting a lot of bad press. Do you know what though? I think we should leave them alone. I watch a few other YouTubers whose names I won't mention at the moment, but you know who they are, the popular ones. And I've found that they really do produce some fantastic stuff. But the format that they shoot on, to me, isn't important. What they do with that format and how they get the photographs really is important for me. And if it suits them, then great. Now, I know that there's a criticism as well insofar as they've sold out and they've gone to somebody else and it's all for the money. Well, do you know what? It's a tough world out there, and we have to be businessmen. And at the end of the day, if they're professional photographers and they're going to get somebody to sponsor them with cameras and with equipment to actually go and do that, and it fits their needs, I can't knock them at all. If somebody was to come along to me and say, would you like to be a sponsor for us? Would you like to use our cameras? So long as I did enjoy using them, so long as I did believe in them, I would probably seriously take it on. So Lumix, Olympus, if you're watching, I'm your man. But seriously, give them an easy time. These people are people out earning a crust, and they do some fantastic output which you enjoy watching. So, hope this has answered your question. The big answer, no, I don't hate full frame. I've never hated full frame. No APS-C, no medium format, no large format, no 1 inch. If it produces what you wanted to do, then great. If it's a mobile phone and it does what you wanted to do, great. If you enjoyed this video, my name is Brian James at Making 4/3 Guide. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. Give me a big thumbs up, because that really does spread the word of the video around the place and get more people watching. And if you get the chance, there's a PayPal link below. Leave us enough for a cup of coffee to help the channel survive, and I'd really appreciate it. Whichever format you take your photographs on, whichever format you take your videos on, enjoy it. Take it out, take some photos, take some videos, enjoy your photography. Till the next time, I'll see you around. Bye bye.